Paul Brown said to me, son, act like you've been there before. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I just barely got on the field. I hadn't been there before. So
I'm glad to be part of that trend. You know, sun's out, guns out.
How about Isaac Curtis on one side, Charlie Joyner on the other side? A lot of quarterbacks were very envious that I had those two weapons to throw to. But
now, wait a minute. Is it fair that Pat McInally is still the sexiest guy on our team? Is that?
You got me there. You got me good.
Donald, how you gonna be in that video not represent with a chain? Your tango, man. I got mine on. I'm ready to go.
Oh, that's great. That's priceless.
There are two guys that I think it's a travesty that are not in that Hall of Fame.
Ken Riley and Ken Anderson. Yeah, sure.
Let's put the backdrop on, Jamie. See if Marissa's okay with it.
Yeah, I got her back. Starting the Canadian fan club up here for you.
That is so funny.
My last touchdown, and that's what Joe Burrow's going to end up like if they don't start protecting his ass. It's going to be the next David Klingler. David Klingler stuff.
There's no Spanish speaking people here, very few. So we, fast forward, we go to the Super Bowl in Miami, and the word was the Bengals have two big Mexican offensive linemen. They don't know how to speak Spanish. So I got down there and started doing these interviews in Spanish, and they're like, "Wait, we heard you don't speak Spanish."
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? But I got on the plane one day in an all red Suge Knight suit. And boy, Joe Walters and the liner, they destroyed me. I thought for sure I was so clean. I had some gaiters on, all red suit on. I was Suge Knight. They roasted me.
The head coach was the pain in the butt. The Jerry Glenn, he thought he was. If you didn't know who he was, he walked out there like he owned his state. And I always say, if I could get a chance to hit him on the sideline, I would.
I'm tackling your ass, Pete. I'm shoestring low on you.
But I got to tell you, you have been stepped on, son. You would have had cliques everywhere.
Well, I'm proud to be a Bengal. Yes, I'm proud to be a Bengal. Again, I got nothing from you guys.
Welcome to the 5-2 number one seed in the AFC, first place in the AFC North, talking football with Bengal Jim edition. Guys, thanks for joining us. What an exciting week of football. What an amazing day in Baltimore, guys. I don't even know what to say, man. That was an amazing road trip and an amazing win in a very difficult place to play against a damn good football team, guys.
Big win. I think the national media was questioning if we could pull it off. I don't think many thought we could. And not only did we pull it off, but I'd like to say in dominating fashion.
Tom, you got to say something about this. Come on.
No, I was waiting for Jamie. I'm sorry.
All right, I'm getting the comments up. They're flooding like crazy.
All right, no problem. No, a monstrous biggest win since 2015, since clinching the playoff berth in 2015. And, hats off. Hey, everybody can get on him. We've gotten on him. What a job by Zach Taylor and his staff. That game plan, the halftime adjustments, and best game yet from Jamar Chase, and there's even better to come. And thank God we've got the quarterback we do and the guys on defense. So this is a fun team. You know what? Maybe the easiest team to root for and the most likable team to root for since our last Super Bowl trip.
Yeah.
This was the best performance I've seen from a Bengals team since I've been a fan. And I think what I love most about it is they did not take the foot off the gas.
Right.
I mean, it just was like I'm laughing. I'm just going, this is absolute insanity. And the national, I said this on Facebook before the game. I said to my friends, because my friends all up here and they razz me, right? There's not a lot of Bengals fans up here. The national media is going to pay attention to this team when they win this game. And I don't know if you guys listen to NFL radio on Sirius and it's nonstop. It's like 24-hour Bengals coverage. They're on TMZ talking about Jamar Chase on the front of TMZ. Like, it's absolute insanity. It's awesome.
Yeah. So is Jamar Chase going to win Rookie of the Week again this year? Would that be his 4th Rookie of the Week?
It's going to be between him and Mac Jones because Mac Jones lit up the Jets.
Yeah.
So
Bengals social media will kill that. So
yeah, and I think the record is 7 Rookie of the Week titles. So needless to say, Jamar Chase is well on his way to getting that honor. And again, if you haven't voted, go ahead and vote. And as always, we want to welcome our friends from Who Dey Nation in. If you haven't checked out their Facebook group, definitely do so. 30,000 plus Bengal fans that talk, you name it, everything Bengals. So, Jimmy, tell us about the experience in Baltimore. Unlike previous away games, you got in Sunday morning because of some commitments. So, what were the fans like? Were they pretty cocky, or
yeah,
they
you know what?
They were what was going on?
They were a little shocked as to what happened, but before we get to that, I got some pictures and a video that we want to share from the Baltimore trip. I think Jamie posted this thing. So we are taking the NFL transfer form here, any bandwagon teams from other teams who want to join the Cincinnati Bengals fan base right now, you're more than welcome. You need to complete this application and make sure you DM it to us on social media. And it's going to take at least 24 to 48 hours to see if your application is accepted or not, Jamie. That's the process, right?
It might be 72 hours now due to the volume that we've been receiving. So you have to review them all.
Yeah.
Not to mention the exorcism we have to give former Browns and Steelers fans, but that's okay.
Actually, they're not. I don't know if you missed that on the forum, but they're actually not welcome to join. So.
Well, hey, I'll go through some
Columbus Browns fans welcome.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll go through just a couple pictures here, guys. And you know what? All in all, the Ravens fans were great, man. I'll tell you. So here's just a quick picture. We just kind of had a place real close, not fairly close to the stadium. And I didn't do a head count here, guys. We filled this place up with Bengal fans. There were so many people inside. There was dozens and dozens of Bengal fans outside as well. So it was a place called Pickles. Here's another group outside that couldn't even get in. There was so many people inside. These are just pictures outside the bar area of other groups that couldn't get in. And again, this is our friends who moved to Cincinnati from Japan. They bring their dog with them to every away game, and they find a doggy daycare to drop their dog off, and they come and tailgate with us every game. So it's fun to watch. And I'm sorry, popping up some pictures disappeared on me here. I had a few other pictures, but I did want to show a game day video of the stadium. There were batches of Bengal fans everywhere. We didn't have the biggest group where we were by the tunnel. The tunnels down the other ends where the biggest group were. But look at this video right here, guys.
2, 3.
So the beautiful thing about that is the Raven fans all left in like early fourth quarter, late third quarter. And there was not one Ravens fan left in that stadium for the entire fourth quarter. It was all orange and black in there. There was several Ravens fans that told me it was the largest amount of Bengal fans they'd ever seen at M&T Field in Baltimore since they've had season tickets for the last 15 years. That's Bengals Nation right there, man. That's a cool thing. Very cool. But James, to your point, man, the fans were fine, man. We didn't have any issues. It was they were not happy campers. They did fully expect to win that game. And in the fourth quarter, there was a little heckling, a little yelling at us. But at the end of the day, that's to be expected when you go out of town for a road game. So it was a great time, guys. It was a lot of fun.
It's kind of hard to chirp when you go into someone's house and win by that big of a mark. I mean, what can you say? What can you absolutely – you can't say anything.
Right.
It's indefensible.
Right.
So were the Bengals.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, what do you want to talk about next before we move on? Why don't we talk about? Well, Jimmy, why don't we go into obviously the second biggest story of the week last week in Bengals Nation. You want to get into that now? Or you want to talk about it later?
Yeah, go ahead. I guess what people want to do. Let's go ahead and play that video, guys, if you're okay.
So the chat's been going crazy. For those who aren't watching or those who aren't aware of what was going on, watch this video, and then we'll come back and hear from Jimmy on how this all went down. It's a pretty cool story.
Bengal Jim Foster, season ticket holder since the early 90s. A lot of different things about this year, the look and feel of the organization top to bottom on the field. Tell you what, I haven't had a feel like this in Paul Brown Stadium since it's been built. wonderful year. Let's keep this thing rolling 4-2. Let's keep it going this year. Bengal Jim, my dear old friend. CJ. How are you doing? Awesome, CJ. You're my man. I'm great. Thanks for asking. And although this is a pre-recorded video, I feel like I'm there with you right now sitting in section 158. It's because of fans like you that make playing in the jungle so special. Tell me, what's been your favorite Bengals moment so far this year? Too many to name. Beating Pittsburgh on the road, but Paul Brown Stadium, Thursday Night Football, Ring of Honor, best time of the year. My 2-touchdown game against the Jags was my favorite moment too. I knew we were best friends for a reason, but I didn't invite you here just to reminisce on my spectacular performance against the Jags. Look over at Cardboard Uzama and open up the envelope he's holding and read it out loud. Surprise, Jimbo! You were this year's Bengals nominee for 2021 Fan of the Year. From your YouTube show, to putting together Jungle to the Hall, to your famous tailgate experience, you embody everything that is great about Houday Nation. You've always stuck with us through thick and thin, so we just want to say thank you. Congratulations from everyone here at the Bengals. Now sing it with me. Houday, Houday, Houday think gonna beat them Bengals. Houday, Houday, Houday think gonna beat them Bengals. Nobody! Take it easy, Jim. Woo! What's up, girl?
Congratulations!
Stop.
So, couple things. In addition to the nomination, you are going to be our ruler of the jungle, week 17 against the Chiefs. You'll be right up there. You're going to kill it. And we can hug after every single one, but here comes the big one. You're going to the Super Bowl.
What? Stop. Oh my God. Thank you. Houday, Houday. I love you, buddy. Guys, thank you so much. Oh my gosh. You guys set me up.
I want a picture with the giant ticket.
I want a picture with all you guys. Guys, thank you so much, man. Thank you, man. I don't even know where to start, man. I'm just excited about this season. I love my franchise. I love my city. Thank you. Thank you guys very much. You have no idea how much this means. Thank you. I can't believe it. Cannot wait to watch Joe Burrow throw touchdown passes to CJ in the Super Bowl this year. I'm going.
So I've been asked by so many people, how was that a surprise? And I guess before I get into that, what's really hard for me is they cited 3 things on there, right? You know, a season ticket holder since the early 90s. You're talking about our tailgate, right? Guys, that's not me. That is James, Craig, Dell, Ryan, Bruce, Tony. Everybody goes into that tailgate, right? The Jungle to the Hall event was all of us putting that on. The YouTube channel they talked about, that's us, guys. It just feels so uncomfortable for me to be kind of singled out on that, but because it is definitely a group effort. And I wish they had multiple Super Bowl tickets so I could take everybody to the damn Super Bowl. It'd be freaking awesome.
I'm just glad that you picked me, and I know James and Tom didn't take it hard.
Can you text Trisha for me to let her know she's not going now?
Yeah. Okay.
So guys, I got asked. I got stopped as many times as Tony the Tiger did, asking how long does it take to put on his face paint? Because everybody asking that same question. I got asked that, how was it a surprise for you? And I'll try to be quick with this, guys. A number of us fans have done some interactive stuff down there over the past 3 or 4 months for game day experience stuff. And they called me on a Friday before we left for Detroit, said I needed to keep it on the DL, but they wanted me to come down Monday afternoon around 2:30, 3 o'clock to finish up some of that game day footage, ask me how the season, how I think the season's going, all that stuff. So I didn't think anything of it. Didn't think twice. Got down there. I was a little bit late running from an appointment, changing in the car into my stuff here. And I walk in the lobby. They put a mic on me. Cameraman's in there. Seth Tanner's in there. They started walking me down to the seat, just explaining to me what they were going to be doing. Hey, we're going to ask you some questions about the season, how excited you are. What do you think about the rest of the season? So still at that point, as I'm walking down, they were walking us down to our section 158, down to my seats. Didn't think anything of it. Started walking down. All of a sudden, something was a little different. We had a cameraman down in the bottom left-hand corner, another cameraman down on the other side, and a cameraman following me down the steps. So they had a cameraman waiting down there. They didn't want me to see the CJ Uzama cutout on the front. There was an envelope that had my name on it. So they immediately just set me down and said, look at this camera right here, and started asking me questions immediately. And they asked me some kind of BS questions, and then all of a sudden the Jumbotron popped on, and that was it. From there, you saw the rest of the video, guys. It was totally the last thing that was on my mind, and totally a shocking surprise. And, you know, I'm just glad that my friends that are watching right now and my friends that are on the screen with me right now are not as mean as some of my other buddies who sent me the crying baby gift like 300 times because I was crying, and hundreds of thousands of people saw me cry. Guys, I usually don't cry really, a whole lot, but the fan of the year was enough. But then when they talked about the Rule of the Jungle and then the Super Bowl tickets, I lost it just completely.
Dude, when they gave you those Super Bowl tickets, I thought you were having a heart attack.
Dude,
you folded over.
Yeah. It was crazy, man. Just to tell everybody, I don't know what individual or individuals nominated me for that process, guys. And I just want to thank everybody. It is such an honor to represent every one of us on this screen, every one of you that is watching right now live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. The Houday Nation on my shoulders right now being represented on this is kind of overwhelming for me and a very big honor for me. But I want to thank everybody, the well wishes. I literally could not get to the thousands of responses that were sent, either DM or social media in one way, shape, or form. I had over 500 text messages that day. My emails at work were blowing up. James helped me craft a letter because I'm not real good at crafting thank yous in written format. So James and I put together that thank you letter for everybody, and I really appreciate it, everybody. It's a really big honor. That was just a crazy thing. So I'm ready to move on from that because I hate watching that video again. So.
Well, definitely a well-deserved experience, as you can see all the Bengals fans mentioning, and certainly we're all proud of you. And as others have said, 100 times over, we can't think of a better representative. And, so happy for you for not only that honor, as you said, the ruler of the jungle, and then the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, which your AFC North Bengals will hopefully be headed that way.
Can you imagine?
That would be a storybook thing. But also, what? Props to the Bengals as well, because we've been talking a lot on this show this season and in the offseason how good of a job that they're doing with the fan engagement and the social media and stuff like that. I mean, to go through that length to create a video to put your logo up on the Jumbotron and include it in the video and take that extra step, and it just goes to they could have easily just put a post on Facebook with a picture of Jimmy saying fan of the year, but to go all out and plan a surprise and do that is, it just speaks to the difference that you see in this team from a marketing standpoint, from a fan engagement standpoint. They're hitting home runs.
It was a perfect choice of the perfect fan.
Yep.
And we have to be happy for Jamie too, since he gets to go with you.
Yeah. So I would tell you,
it's true, guys. Not true.
It's funny. My wife would be down here in a heartbeat, like smacking me live right now. But anyway, I remember at the end of that thing, I was like, please don't. The guy that were cutting up the video, I was like, cut out as much of the crying as you can. And they're like, nah, we're going to get that all in there. So guys, let's move on. We got some guests waiting right now. We have 3 very special guests tonight. We got Chick Ludwig from 700 WLW, does a lot of Bengals post-game shows. We have our man Tailgate Joe, who we'll be spending a lot of time with here in New York, tailgating. Looks like we have a pretty good crowd heading to New York this weekend. And we're also going to talk to our buddy Frank, aka Jet Green Santa, about how he thinks his Jets are doing, and what some of the strengths or weaknesses are of those guys, and get our fan feedback from 2 really, really good guys, man. And that's what I love about this stuff. We travel, we go to all these different places, all these different cities, and you meet the best freaking people. Frank and Joe, no different. The best guys in the world. We're going to talk about tailgating. We're going to be tailgating with Joe. We're going to talk some New York Jets football with Frank. Guys, you guys have anything? Let's go talk about that shirt real quick before we pull Frank on.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about it, Jamie. I'll pull it up. if you've got it.
What am I bringing up?
If not the shirt from
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said something else. Yeah. So, good friend of the show, Dalton Signature. He done a lot of graphics for us on the show, and actually he put a Ted Lasso one out on the weekend, which I thought was great and kind of ties into this. So, for you guys who I don't know, have you watched Ted Lasso, Jimmy? I know you're not a big kickball fan.
I have not.
But Ted Lasso is a great show, even if you're not a soccer fan. But in the show, Ted Lasso, he's an American football coach who goes over to the UK and coaches soccer. And he puts a sign above the locker room door on the way out that says "Believe." It's a yellow sign, and all the players tap it. So Dalton did this design, put up on social media, and I guess the guys at Cincy Shirts reached out to him, and they worked out a way to put his design on a shirt and sell it. And this is definitely a shirt I can get behind in Cincinnati, supporting a great guy, good friend of the show, obviously, Dalton, with the Ted Lasso Believe shirt. You can grab that on Cincy Shirts. If you go to cincyshirts.com and just search for the word Believe, it pops right up, and it's available in gray, black, and white. So I'm definitely going to put an order in as well for those shirts.
All right, cool.
Pretty cool. Well, congratulations to Dalton.
Good job, Dalton.
Good to see a guy like him getting recognized. I know the teams also put out a bunch of his stuff as well. He's just a solid dude.
Well, let's go ahead and bring on. So before we bring on Frank here, so Frank, we're going to talk some Jets, and he has a great tailgate as well. He's a chop champion, guys. I'm going to show some. You know what? Let's go ahead and pull on Frank. We'll pull these damn pictures on when he's on. What's up, Frank? How you doing, buddy?
What's going on, fellas?
All right, so we're going to get to the Jets here in a little bit. We're going to have some discussion around our Jets, but I do have to share a story with everybody that's watching right now, Frank. Let's talk about this right here. What the hell? You were a chop champion?
Yeah, tailgate greats. The Jets had a little, I guess, like a promotional thing they would do when they were on a road game. They hooked up with the Institute of Culinary Education over in the city here, and they would have a couple of retired players, or if it was like a guy on the IR or something, would be there, and they would try to teach you how to cook the dishes to wherever you were playing. So if the Jets were playing the Saints, they might be doing like gumbo and jambalaya, something along those lines. Well, I seen one night they were offering a class where they were going to do wings and beer. All right. Well, anybody that knows me knows I'm 48 years old. I've never tasted alcohol in my life. So beer is not in the cards for me. And also anybody that knows me knows that you're not going to get better wings than you are from me. So the only reason I was going was because Tony Richardson was the guest. And I was like, this guy's ninth best fullback of all time. It just seems like a class act, any interview I've ever seen him in. So I paid the couple $100 to go to this thing just to meet Tony Richardson. Unbeknownst to me, the fella that runs he was the culinary director of ICE, was the first winner of Chopped. He won the pilot episode, and he was also the first person to win Chopped twice. His name was James Bricione. All we did was talk about my tailgates. You know, he was looking through photos of my tailgates. He's like, you do this every game? Like, you cook from the ground up in the parking lot, and you're making like this restaurant quality food? I said, yeah. How else do you do it? And he was like, wow, I got to get your number just in case I ever I come to a game. So I didn't think anything of it. I gave my phone number. A few weeks later, just maybe a couple months later, I get a phone call from this girl, and she's like, hey, is this Frank? I was like, yes. Would you like to be on Chopped? I said, would you like to suck it? And I hung up the phone because I thought she was just busting my chops. I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm supposed to be like this tough guy cop, right? And I like cooking. So I just assumed one of my friends put their wife up to it, and it just, oh boy. So like literally like 2 minutes go by, and she goes, hey, Frank, I know we've never met. I'm not above sucking it, but I'm serious. Would you like to be on Chopped? I said, oh boy. I said, okay, I'll play along. Send me an application. She goes, well, can you give me your email address? I said, well, if you found my phone number, I'm sure you can find my email address. Click, I hang up again. Within 5-10 minutes, I get an email. I had to put my tail between my legs and apologize. I called her back. I said, I am so sorry. She's like, listen, I'm in show business. You will not believe the things we hear around here. I'm not going to hold it against you. Just fill the application out, send it back. So a few screen tests later and interviews and things like that. I was on an episode, season 31, episode 2, entitled Tailgate Greats. Competed against 3 other avid football fans that were also tailgaters. They just weren't the greatest tailgater. That's me.
So leading up to that, what info did you have? Any of the ingredients or anything like that? We've seen some of the comments that people are fans of Chopped as well. So any insight you had going into that show?
Nothing at all. Like, it is 100% on the up and up. Like, I thought for sure, like, just for good TV, like they would give you some kind of a tip on like, oh, this is what you're going to be working with. Nothing. You walk in there, you don't know what's in that basket until the second you open it. And the same thing, the other question I get is the clock real? Because people think like they must pause it at some point to let you finish cooking and then start filming again. No, that clock is 100% real. As you would see when you watch my episode in the dessert round, the clock got in my head and it didn't work out as well as it could. Luckily, the final decision is based on all 3 courses. And I had such a lead going into the dessert round that I could have just put this stuff on the plate and said, yeah, there it is. And I would have probably won.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I've got to experience stuff with Frank and Joe before. But Frank, we appreciate being on the show with us, buddy. We just love the feedback. So let's talk about your Jets, brother. I just want to let you know the Bengals have been there many years, many times before, brother. So what's your take this year in the team? What's going on? And give us your thoughts.
I tell you what, I'm usually the forever optimist. I did a show like this a few weeks back with Denver, and I'll always give some cockamamie answer like, "Oh, we're gonna win like 80-3." You know what I mean? Like, I can't even do that now. After what happened on Sunday, it was just that was despicable. There was always something positive I could take away. I've heard it before. There's no such thing as a loss. There's a lesson. You can learn something every time you lose a game. Just don't make that mistake over. It just so many things went wrong. And with Zach being out, there's nothing we could even build on. Now we got Joe Flacco coming in. When he was with the Ravens, I was a fan of that man. I was like, I like that big quarterback, 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", could see all over the field. Nobody's getting in his way. He just, to me, I think he just lost it. I think it's not the physical ability may be there. I just think his desire to play isn't there anymore. I mean, we had him play for us, was it last year, the year before? And like right out of the box, he's fumbling snaps and mishandling the ball. And it doesn't instill a lot of faith, in me with him going under center. Like I said, I'm always the optimist. So I got to try to find something good. The only thing I could say is it seems like LaFleur up until this point has been calling like the safest plays in the first and second quarter. Like he's been like almost like he's like walking Wilson, by the hand. Just give him handoff. Okay, little pass, just warming him up. And then he seems to let him rip in the third and fourth quarter. Maybe now because Flacco does have some experience here, he is a veteran quarterback. Maybe LaFleur opens up his playbook a little bit and just lets this guy air some stuff out. I don't know. That's all I could come up with.
Go ahead, Jim.
Go ahead, James.
This was an offseason where you saw a top 5 pick and Sam Darnold get traded away. You had the second pick, decided on Zach Wilson. Was that somebody you were sold on? We know there were some other names there. You picked up the big left tackle out of Louisville last year in the draft, which you think would be a 10-year anchor. Are you happy with that Zach Wilson selection?
I tell you what, I was a firm believer in Sam. And even at our reunion, Jim and I are in this the group, the PFUFA. I know Jim doesn't have his coin on him, so I'm going to show it again. Even at our reunion, I was talking to like Crazy Joe and Dano and those guys from Carolina, and I said, dude, you've got a gift there because Sam is a very talented quarterback. I think the problem is you need to be a special kind of person, not just a player, to be up here in New York because the media is everywhere. It's not like any other market. And once they sense a little bit of weakness, they're just going to tear you apart. And there's no coming back from that. When Sam didn't produce by his, end of his second, beginning of his third year. They got on him. They just started riding him so hard. He'll run out of the tunnel. One bad pass or one botched play, and the boo birds come out. You can't play in that atmosphere. So I understand why they had to make that move. If it was in New York, if we were in any other market, he would still be our quarterback right now. And I think he's going to produce. I think he's going to do very well for the Panthers. But again, it's like he's a rookie all over again because he never really had a fair shot up here in New York. Like he was expected to deliver day one. I mean, and right out of the box, he put up half 100 against the Lions. His first game, it was like, I think we spotted him 7 points. His first pass ever was a pick six. And then he goes on to win the game, like 49 to whatever the hell it was. And they just, everybody insisted, like, this is the way his career is going to go. And when it didn't work out like that, it just became nothing but negativity. I wish him well, wherever he plays. I've met him a handful of times, and he was nothing but respectful. I mean, it's when you're getting old. He kept calling me sir, and
Yeah. Well, Frank, wait, before we get your prediction, Frank, Tom has a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Frank, you mentioned the optimism and so forth. There was a lot of optimism, certainly with your new head coach. And as Jamie said, your last couple of drafts. Do you think a little bit is just simply bad luck? Things have not come together. Getting used to a new coaching staff. I mean, we saw that. Zach Taylor's first 2 years here were not all that good. It didn't end on a good note. However, he never had a full football team at any point. There were always massive injuries. He had a couple guys that maybe weren't so honest and griped to get out of here. But for whatever reason, they played hard for him. Is the team still playing hard for Coach Salih? I mean, thus far. And, certainly any team that plays hard is going to be a headache for their opponent. And we don't want a headache Sunday. We're used to having, after 1 week of it, we're used to having fun as Bengal fans again. Yeah, well, to answer your question, I mean, let's address the elephant in the room. You don't get a top 10 pick because you're an awesome team. It's not a reward for being so great. They say, hey, you know what? You did so good. We're going to give you, the number 2 overall pick. All right. So we didn't have the greatest core of personnel on the field to begin with. So Zach isn't going to change the world just by showing up. I think Joe Douglas has made some smart moves. I mean, the trading Jamal Adams up to Seattle, I mean, that pretty much added, 4 or 5 players to our roster that are all, significant picks. It wasn't like, some washed up, corner. But at the end of the day, there's going to be growing pains. I mean, I've been breaking the season up into thirds. We used to do every 4 weeks, but being that there's 17 games this year, I looked at it in 6-week blocks. Right. And I was saying to myself, if we're 1-5, 2-4, by the first third of the season, I'm okay with that because we have I think it's still the youngest team in football. By far, it's by a couple of years. So they're going to need time, not only to mature as players, but to learn how to play together. So I expected this much. What I didn't expect was to lose a game by 41 points. That's when the optimism goes out the window because there's seriously something wrong. I mean, if you're going to lose a game by 1 score, all right, you were in it. You showed up, you did your job. When you lose a game by 5 scores, there's a problem.
Well, Frank, tell us then what's your obviously the record is going to be not good right now for the Jets, but give us your prediction this Sunday, Bengals against the Jets.
I think it's going to be tough because our corners are young and Chase is on a tear. I mean, this kid is set up to be the rookie of the year, right? I mean,
the spread's 10. The spread's 10 right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even worried about this. That's inconsequential. But when we beat the Titans, their 2 top receivers were out, so we could focus on Henry. All right. Mixon is going to have all the help he needs downfield with Chase being as hot as he is. So, he's going to blow up our line. I mean, the only shot in the dark we have is if we could keep your boy, was it Uzuma, whatever, and we could keep him in keep them on the line instead of like sneaking off into the flat where you have another weapon out there, we might have half a chance. But and that's just at the 10. I'm not even saying, to take the game. I'm just saying to keep it respectable. But if he starts breaking away and now you got 2 weapons, plus you got Mixon, I mean, it's not looking good. I'm not happy about
Well,
this.
Frank, we got to play the games, brother. We've been where you're at many times before, brother. Look, Frank, it means a lot you joining us, man. It's love you, buddy. I can't wait to spend some time with you and make me some damn good food, brother, because it's the best, brother. So
I'm gonna tell you what, Jim. If me taking an L on Sunday gets you that much closer to watching your Bengals in the Super Bowl, I'll sign up for that loss right now, brother.
Bro, that means a lot, Frank. I appreciate it.
I'm telling you, you're my guy.
I love you,
I'm happy you're getting to go, but I'd be ecstatic if you got to watch the Bengals in the Super
Bowl. I can't even imagine if that happened. Jeez.
Wow.
Well, Frank, we appreciate it, buddy. We'll hopefully we'll get to see you a little bit on Sunday, bud.
All right, bro.
See you, buddy.
Take care.
Thank you.
Such a class act. I mean, that you can tell. I hope everybody took a good look at him because guess what? Frank was all of us.
Yep.
The last several years, and he's suffering with his team and loves his team. So
guys,
after Sunday, best to him.
Yeah, we're a few minutes behind here, guys, but we got to bring on another class act here. So we're going to bring on our guy Tailgate Joe. And guy, I'm telling you, Joe, what's going on, big dog? How you doing, buddy?
What's up, buddy? How you doing, Jimmy? What's up, buddy?
Cannot wait to have a beer with you this Sunday, brother. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. So, I heard the weather's looking pretty good, too.
Yeah.
There was a little touch and go earlier in the week, but it looks like the forecast is turning out good.
All right, so let me introduce everybody that's watching. We got a lot of viewers right now, Joe, watching, streaming live right now. So this is Tailgate Joe, a member of, I think, the Tailgate Hall of Fame and the PFUFA.
Yep.
Got to spend a lot of time with this guy over the past 2 or 3 years. And like I said, you get to meet people like Frank and people like Joe, the best people ever that will do anything for you, whether he knows you or not. And Joe, every time we go out of town, a lot of times we'll bring our bus with us. We'll go. This week we're not, man. And we needed somebody to tailgate with and partner with. So tell us what you got planned for us, buddy.
All right, yeah. Well, Tailgate Joe, I've been doing this open and professionally since 2009. And it's the biggest and the best tailgate party in all of MetLife Stadium, in the history of MetLife Stadium, I guess you could say. We're going to have – I don't know what we're going to have this week. It's kind of tough with, Halloween and the fact of where the Jets are, unfortunately. But we get anywhere from 200 to 600 plus people per game. I've built a reputation on the food. The food is awesome. That's why people come to my parties. And you're going to be in for a treat this week. I've got some special stuff planned. We can go over the menu, and I can tell you about that. But it's going to be a great time, man. It's, it's all the food, all the beer you care to have. We got a live DJ, the cornhole, beer pong, the whole deal.
So let me ask you, Joe. So with tailgates, again, we'll tell you, we've had upwards of 750 to 1,000 people at a tailgate this year, that Thursday night game. So we know what it takes to put on a big, massive tailgate. So, there's some parameters around this, right? So anybody can show up. You don't have to pay to come to the tailgate. But if you're going to want to drink and eat all the food that Joe's bringing together, you're going to want people to RSVP and pay in advance for that, correct?
Yeah, definitely. And let me just kind of explain, we've done this, Jimmy. You've traveled all over the country to different tailgates and stuff, and I have. And for the most part, when you do these parties, the tailgate, the food that's there, it's kind of just like, all right, I'll go pick on something. And there's a few steam trays of whatever over there, some frozen burgers that someone threw on a grill and all that. No one really cares about the food. It's not really the point of it. With me, with what I do, the food is the point of the party. It's how I express my fandom and how I share my game day with my friends and family. The burger we're going to serve, I actually just competed last week in the Food Network New York City Wine and Food Festival Burger Bash, which is the premier event hosted by Rachel Ray. It's like 20 of the best chefs, restaurants in New York City and beyond. And I'm the only non-restaurant person that's invited. And this is the second year in a row that they've invited me to do it. Like, I'm the only non-restaurant, non-chef. And that's it's something that I'm humbled by to be in that group of people. and the burger we're going to be serving actually made it all the way to the Final Four judges table. And this was an event with 1,500 people that we were serving burgers to. So it's a huge event outside. So that's kind of the level that the food is at, and where I am with what I do.
Yeah, I get it, brother. You guys do it right. So there's on the link that we're getting ready to post on our social media, and the link that that Jamie was showing earlier. There's directions on where Tailgate Joe is, and Joe's doing it up right for us as friends. He's got a 10x10 tent for us, kind of VIP for Bengal fans. We've got our own little section that he's hooked up for us. The thing I want to be clear on: if you want food and drink, go online. I've already bought 2 for me. My wife and I will be there, Joe. We've already prepaid for our food because I want some food. But again, you do not have to pay to show up and tailgate. If you want food,
look, we're in a parking lot. And so if you want to wander over to the area where we're at, okay, fine. I will ask if you're not partaking in the food and the beer stuff, to kind of just make sure you're giving the people that are, the space within the party, and don't just, stand there in the middle and take them. I don't know how many of you guys are going to show up, and I'd love to have every one of you come. We're open, and we're 100% visiting fan friendly. I always have been. That's part of the reason why I'm in those organizations that you mentioned, Jimmy, the Tailgating Hall of Fame, Pro Football's Ultimate Fan Association. You know that being like a good fan, a good steward to other fans, and fellowship and stuff is a major part of it.
Yep.
But the food is, this is legitimately, it's all the beer and the food that you care to have. Yingling is a partner with us, so the beer is awesome. It's definitely a value for the money.
Right.
It really is, especially when you consider what you're going to pay once you get into this.
Well, Joe, there's only one question I have for you. Tony the Tiger and myself are wondering, will there be cannolis there?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, that's his signature. We do that for every game. Dessert, I get my mom, and she'll be over by the food table, and she'll actually be stuffing the cannolis fresh, and she'll stuff a few hundred of them. And if you've ever had a cannoli, the only way you can have it is if it's stuffed fresh right there on the spot. If you go into a bakery and the cannoli's sitting in a display case or in a refrigerator, that's garbage. Don't even touch that. The only way to eat it. And I know you've had one over the summer, right? I think you had more than one. You had a few of them.
Yes.
So yeah, they will be there for sure.
You know what? It's the only weekend I go away for the Pro Football Ultimate Fans Association from Canton, and I eat 60 cannolis, and I mean it's crazy. But Joey, look, man, we appreciate it, and we'll be in touch as it gets closer to Sunday, man. And Bengal Nation says thank you. I say thank you. Again, I think you're right. It's going to be a tough travel this week for a lot of Bengal fans. It's Halloween. It's New York. It's a lot of our fans with kids are not going to be able to make the trips because of Halloween this week. But I think we're having a good turnout, man, and we'll make sure we monitor it doesn't get too big. But so we'll start kicking people out if we have to.
Don't worry about that. It's going to be a great time, man.
Well, Joe, we look forward to seeing you, buddy.
Right on.
All right, man. We'll see you.
Easy,
Go
boys.
Jets, go Bengals. See you. Hey, great guy. And we got stories to tell you off the air about the cannolis. Tony likes cannolis, by the way, Tony the Tiger. So, guys, I know we're behind, and we got Chick in the waiting room. Tom, you want to go ahead and bring on Chick and introduce Chick?
Ready to go with him. Pleasure to introduce an elder man, an Evans Scholar, a graduate of The Ohio State University, Bengal historian, Bengal scribe, Bengal author, and host of the Bengals postgame show on 700 WLW and 1530 The Sports Animal, Chick Ludwig. Chick, thanks for hooking up with us tonight.
Thanks so much, guys. This is a blast. Yeah, I'm repping my elder stuff here. And I've got my Bengals light tower that I got at Jacksonville Landing several years ago. It only lasted 1 year because they were not certified by the National Football League. So, yeah, awesome to be with you guys tonight.
Hey, thanks for being with us, Chuck.
Chick, thanks for carving out some time for us. We got to say, I'm a little older than the rest of the boys here. So, I can go back to, in fact, I was born the year the franchise started playing. But not only is this an exciting team, but this is a fun team. I mean, this is an easy team to pull for from, everybody's brother, Joe Burrow, who we all look after, to the excitement of Jamar Chase, a defense that plays hard as a unit and is aggressive as fun, and got a head coach that's almost, you could say, come back from the dead.
No doubt. And gosh, what a year so far. It could almost be 7-0 when you think about it, but wow, 5-2, first place. It's just fantastic. You're right. The defense is unbelievable. The team's speed is increased so dramatically. The playmakers on offense, they've got to give defensive coordinators nightmares trying to plan for these guys. And nothing's worse for a defensive coordinator than, a team that can throw the ball over your head. So what we saw on Sunday was phenomenal, and it truly was one of the most satisfying victories that I can remember.
Chick, I'm going to show a picture here, and we want to thank you for joining us. Here's a picture of Tim McGee, who we had on the show last year. For those that don't know, that maybe not from the Cincinnati area, Chick and Tim do a post-game show on 700 WLW, which, living in Indianapolis, that basically takes my 2-hour drive home after the game on Sunday. So I thoroughly enjoy that, Chick. But
Thanks.
How's that experience with the fans? Certainly this year has been great, but there's times when some callers might be down, and all levels of enthusiasm, maybe a couple drinks after the game. Talk about that post-game show that you do live from various establishments throughout Cincinnati, and getting the opportunity to tag team with the Pride of Tennessee, as you like to call them.
Oh, yes. Number one, working with Tim McGee is just the absolute best. After our very first show, and it was the game at Seattle with Dave Yiddy Armbruster, our boss, called me and said, "Hey, how was Tim?" I said, "Oh, he was great." He said, "Oh, Tim is fantastic. He'll say anything." So, man, it's just awesome working with Tim. Right before this season started, we thought we'd be back in the studio because we come on after the network goes off the air for a 1:00 game. It's 5:30. And we thought we'd be back in the studio, a controlled environment. Well, here we get word that we're going to be traveling around to 3 different Frickers restaurants. So it presents its challenges. It's noisy. There's some distractions, but it's awesome being with the fans. And the one thing, at Frickers, people are there for the game. We almost wish it could be a watch party while we could comment like as the game goes on, but we're post game. And some fans leave after the game's over, but there's so many screens and there's so many NFL fans that are watching other games. So, but yeah, and I can really feel, just like the Reds this year, the fans and the Reds, a great connection. You can definitely feel that with the Bengals fans this year. That stadium is electric and the fans are fired up. It's just awesome.
Looking back in your years, Chick, Tom alluded to what you've done throughout your career. Is there anything you can compare the start of this year to from previous years in the Bengals that you can remember?
There was a year where they got off really strong, and then they went down to Tampa Bay and got beat. Just, remember when Justin Smith drove, was it Bruce Gradkowski into the ground and penalty flag? Oh, that was a disaster. And then 3 guys get arrested like overnight. And then the season went south. So, but yeah, it's, I really can't. I had the beat for 12 years, 97 when Boomer Esiason came back, and then up through the 2009 season. And yeah, I batted less than 40%, man. So, during my years. So
you mentioned
got to see just some great athletes. Wow. And Jeff Hobson just wrote about Lamar Parrish. Man, I love the guy. And I told a friend that Paul Brown would stand on the sideline in absolute, Tommy Casanova told me this, in awe of the man who was Deion Sanders before Deion Sanders. So, and I've got relatives in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. They're huge Bama fans. I'm a Buckeye, but there's so many Auburn Bengals. God, if I'm born in Alabama, I'm an Auburn guy.
There you go.
Yeah.
You talked about the, that hot streak that they got on, and then unfortunately players got arrested, and that was, the old Bengals. Let's talk about the culture now and what Zach's changing and what a difference that is from when you were covering back then to what we see now with the quality of guys and just the character of the football team.
Yeah, and when I got the beat, I won't mention any names, but a couple of the veteran beat writers said, "Hey, stay away from that corner. It's cancer corner." So, in the old locker room at Spinney. So, yeah, and you can just see, Zach, struggled those first 2 years, but what he was doing was, shaping this roster, and now it's his guys. And it was tough to see AJ Green leave. And isn't it amazing that he's been injured the last 2 years, and now he's really, really healthy. So, these are his guys now. And, Geno Atkins loved him. He's gone. And Carlos Dunlap, there was a lot of, animosity there when he left. And I'm sure that Zach got the approval of Mike Brown. Hey, it's going to be a tough couple of years. And total patience with him. And now look at him. It's great to see.
Chuck, you're getting a call, buddy.
Yeah, I know. It's my buddy up in Valparaiso. He's laying in a hospital bed. Rick Wells, and great guy. And he was close with Bob Trumpy, and I'll hook up with him later.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Tom.
Chick, it's so many storylines, so many things to feel good and fired up. As we were talking before the show, I don't think this is just a team for a playoff run. I think this is a team that's laying a foundation for a great generation of Cincinnati Bengals football. Something very, very special. But in going back, something that you can clearly remember, and it was really some of my first clear memories, when you see Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and I know they played together in college.
Yeah.
Do you feel that same chemistry and connection and excitement that you would see with Kenny Anderson and a young Isaac Curtis in 1973?
Oh, I really do. And I was sitting in the dog pound one year because I worked in Willoughby for 2.5 years, northeast of Cleveland, before I came to Dayton back home. And all I remember is seeing the back of Isaac Curtis's jersey. That connection was extremely special. And you can feel that now with Burrow and Chase. And we constantly are getting asked, about Justin Herbert. And, again, with Joe. And I'm there. Joe's a Midwest guy, Athens, Ohio, former Buckeye, turned LSU. He was, he's just perfect for the Bengals. And Justin Herbert, Oregon, West Coast, he's ideal for the Los Angeles Raiders or the Los Angeles Chargers. So, love the connection and just all the weapons. The T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd has taken a back seat this year, and it shows his selfless nature because you got to be ready. There's only one ball. They're sharing it. And, hey, when your number's called, man, be ready. It's coming your way.
Well, to back you up on your statement, there is no other human being I would rather have quarterbacking the Cincinnati Bengals than Joe Burrow. And hopefully all the steps are going to be taken so he has all the toys to play with, but is also kept upright and healthy because I think there's a very good chance by the time he retires, he might be the most popular athlete in the history of this city.
Tom, when you think about it, he's only played like one full season and he's already, setting records. And his competitiveness, his knowledge, his smarts, his intelligence, and his talent is, it's just something to behold. And so glad he's here. No doubt. I wouldn't trade him for anybody.
Yeah.
Chick, in case you haven't noticed, we got the fan of the year up there in that top left corner. We're going to finally let him ask a question, if you don't mind.
Can I just say one thing here, Bengal Jim? And I mentioned this to you. You're not only the fan of the year, you're the fan of the decade, 5 decades, and then the franchise. But like you said, you're only 51. So
yeah, I know. Thanks, Chuck.
Congratulations.
I keep calling you Chuck. Chick, I've listened and talked to you guys for many years, and I keep calling you Chuck for some reason. Damn it.
That's all right, brother. We took the U out and put the I in many years ago.
I got it.
Yeah.
Chick, got a question for you. This franchise, the defense right now is just playing lights out, right? At all 3 levels of that defense, they got a star on each level for sure. Multiple stars on different levels. The money that this franchise has spent the last couple of years, and a big chunk of that money has gone towards that defense. Talk a little bit about the money they spent, and they've been almost clinical and the guys they're bringing in here. They've only had one miss out of all these guys they brought in. But talk about that defense right now and the money they spend. They've been dead on with this.
Oh, you're right. You look up front here. And, when Trey Hendrickson was signed, oh, yeah, he had his 16 and a half sacks. But, it was because of other players. Well, that dude is just absolutely relentless. And Sam Hubbard from the other end, so smart. They didn't allow that pass rush to get too far past Lamar Jackson to create the running lanes for the guy. And then up front in the middle, the push they're getting from Reeder and Ogunjobi is just fantastic. And that any kind of pressure up front takes the pressure off of the back end of the secondary. But how about Awuzie, his ability to close, and two of the finest safety tandem going with Von Bell and Jesse Bates. And Jesse Bates, like Tim McGee said, he will get paid. He will.
Yep. Jamie, I think you had one.
Yeah, Chick, quick question for you, kind of radio related, obviously, but
Yes,
is there a memorable call that you can remember when taking a call about this team that you can share with us? Is there a call that sticks out in your mind that you tell the story or anything like that?
Wow. A certain call. On my refrigerator, I've got Corey Dillon's 278 yards. I got it broken down, I just remember that game just so vividly because Denver had the number one rush defense in the league at the time. Achilles Smith threw the ball, a handful of times, completed 2 passes or whatever. And CD, 10 of his runs were for -2 yards. He had 10 runs of 1 yard or less, but 12 for 280. And then being in the press box, I don't often hear, the radio call. So, but nowadays I'm watching the game. I'm listening to Lapp and Dan Horde. Couldn't give a rat about what the national guys are saying on the broadcast. I want to listen to the local guys because Lapp can diagnose a play so well. And then Dan Horde's just the best in the business. Period. So his calls on the UC Bearcats and the Bengals, just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Well, Chick, it really means a lot. We've got a ton of viewers right now. Jamie, if you're able to kind of go through, I'm going to ask one more question. Maybe we can take one question from the viewers. If you have any questions for Chick right now, type it in. I'm going to ask one, and we'll get 1 or 2 from the viewers right now. But Chick, I'm going to ask you. So we were having this discussion here multiple times over the last few weeks. If you took Joe Burrow and compared him to any other quarterback in this franchise's history, who would be the closest that you would? Who would you believe would be the closest for Joe?
Wow, I wish I could put Kenny and Carson in a blender and come out with Joe. John Kitna said, when God created a quarterback, he created Carson Palmer. But that was then. Nowadays, look at the mobility that a quarterback has to have. Jared Goff reminds me of Carson, just a little bit too much more of a statue. But Carson's arm strength was incredible. So is Joe's, and the smarts of Ken Anderson. Boomer was the greatest leader. He came into a huddle and just total motivation in that huddle. But, a left-hander, his arm strength with Kenny's accuracy. So Joe's got the accuracy and he's got the arm strength. So I'm just going to say put Carson and Kenny into a blender.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer, Chick.
We got a couple fan questions. Want to go with those?
Yeah.
Okay. Jason asks, favorite game since you've been covering the Bengals?
Favorite games.
Or game.
Well, I remember a Pittsburgh game at Riverfront Stadium where the Bengals were down. They were absolutely dead. This was in 98 when, the quarterback then.
Neil O'Donnell.
When Neil O'Donnell threw a bomb to midfield, and then Corey runs, on a draw play into the red zone, and then they fake the snap and throw it into the end zone, to beat Pittsburgh. That was crazy. But yeah, CDs, setting the record on a Thursday night, breaking Jim Brown's record, and then the 278-yard game against Denver. And Corey, I believe it was Corey's rookie year, where he had 190 against Cleveland, and he could have gone for 3 Bills that game. But Bruce Coslet said afterward, hey, this is a rivalry. We play these guys twice every year. Don't rub it in. And one quick thing about the Browns. I grew up a Browns fan in Cincinnati, born in 1954. Lived for Sundays at 1 o'clock from Cleveland Municipal Stadium. Frank Gleber with Warren Lahr and Ken Coleman. And when the Bengals were born, my dad is sitting in his easy chair saying, Art Modell fired Paul Brown. We are a Bengals family now.
Nice.
And
Yes, sir.
Chick, I forgot to tell you before you came on the show, we don't use the C word on the show. It is the city up north.
Yes, sir. Okay, great. I'll remember that, brother.
For your next appearance. I got a couple more questions here. Greg's asking who you think the MVP is on the Bengals defense so far.
Wow.
That's a good one.
You could pick a handful of guys. Wow. Man, I'm loving the pressure that Hendrickson is getting on people. Oh, and Logan Wilson. Man.
That's tough.
His speed and his intensity.
DJ Reader.
And DJ Reader up front, man.
Ogunjobi, shit, it's hard to pick.
Yeah. Well, every week we have to pick a defensive player of the game, and it's one of 5 guys every week. Man, it's so tough to pick.
That is the toughest question of the day, right there.
Actually, you know what? Yeah. This is probably the best question we've had in here in a long time. I don't expect an answer to this one, but I think this is kind of cool. Who will be the 32nd pick in next year's NFL draft?
Wow. Yeah.
A cornerback, right, Chick?
Sauce Gardner.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be awesome to be able to I will say this, after watching Kenny Pickett of Pitt against Clemson, Denver, you need a quarterback, Mr. Elway. He's your mile-high man. I'm going to go have a cold one, and then I'll worry about the Miami Hurricanes. Was that unbelievable?
Yeah. Good stuff. Jamie, is there one more? I know there's several of them. I didn't know if you wanted to do
I had a couple people asking for Chick's prediction this week against the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a worrier. I get scared, but I think this team is mature enough to handle the success, just like they were mature enough to come back from Green Bay, a devastating loss. So I think it's going to be under 10. I don't gamble, but if I am, I'm going to take a dog at home and 10 points. But the Bengals win this football game.
Well, Chick, we appreciate you joining us. We'll take a win, whether it's by 1 point or 11 points. As Bengals fans, we'll keep the momentum rolling as we come home next week after Halloween. We appreciate you joining us. We'll say some prayers for your friend there that's struggling up there in Valpro. And even if you're not in the area or if you're leaving the game, 2 Sundays, turn on 700 WLW, a great post-game show with Chick and Tim McGee. And even if you're not in the area, iHeartRadio now, you can stream it there. And Chick, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Hey, really appreciate it. And once again, congratulations, Bengal Jim. One thing to watch out for, games getting moved from 1 o'clock to either 4:15 or 8 o'clock. Yeah, we might be seeing some of those.
Yeah, that's a good thing too.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All righty. Chick just has that unique voice. And again, as some people alluded to in the comments, just a staple Sunday nights driving home from the stadium or even when after the game, cooking some burgers on the grill, putting the radio on. Chick's a staple, and so lucky to have him.
We're in such a positive year. I hate to keep it positive, but if we have Chick on again, well, maybe in the off season, we'll have to ask him about some of his legendary press conference battles with Marvin Lewis. That
There's
were
the good ones.
Oh,
yes.
It wasn't for the faint of heart or for the young, but they were good.
Nice. Well, Jimmy, you're going to keep the streak alive. You're going to be attending the Jets game this weekend, hopefully bringing us back another win, as you guys have done for all the previous road games. Have something great set up for the fans, for them to join you pregame, for those that are going to New York. And one thing I'm going to bring up, I guess I'll lead the closing. In case those that were worried, I'm going to pull up these stats here. You can see 7 teams. We got our fantasy football league broken down into 7 teams. And unfortunately, Bengal Jim still
this is
there.
only one division.
I know. Hold on. I'm going to go to the other side.
Thank
I'm going to
you.
go to the other side.
Yeah,
so
thank
you and AJ can gloat a little bit. But I think Bengal Jim needs a slump buster. Okay.
You
right.
Yeah. Do you have the other one? Do you have the other one?
Yes. Okay. So now AJ will type in his comments on how he's undefeated as Fat Randy's revenge. So there he is on the opposite end of the spectrum of Bengal Jim, 7-0. You there, Jamie, just one blemish on your resume.
Yeah.
And then our buddy Beerfest Craig in third. So I just want to give everybody the Bengal Jim fantasy football updates. And
so I am like worse than the Jets, evidently, right now. So
And you've got Bengals on your team.
We're kicking ass. I don't know how I'm losing these games. Just telling you.
Yeah, I mean, even the
Coach.
Jaguars have won a game. But one other thing we mentioned, we're going to continue the charity stuff. 30,000 raised year to date. Our friends at Bengal Bids, we have this Tyler Croft game used jersey that we're going to be raffling off here. Again, 100% of these proceeds will be going to a charity. So stay tuned. Our man, Tony the Tiger, who kind of leads us in that department there, especially on game days, we'll be talking, but we will have a Tyler Croft game used jersey that we'll be raffling off with the proceeds going to another good cause, those being veterans that we chose for the month of November. So great guest. Thank you. Congrats to our fan of the year. And Jamie?
Yeah, obviously good week to be a Bengals fan, good season to be a Bengals fan. I think going back to that question that was asked of Chick, who the defensive player would be, I think if we're going to give a defensive award out to this team right now, it's got to go to Lou Anarumo. Like, none of us would have predicted that this defense would have been as stout as it is. We can go back and watch previous episodes of the show, and I think we all pretty much agreed that Lou's got to do something or he's going to be gone. And I never would have predicted that this defense would have been as amazing as they're playing. So I think the award goes to Lou Anarumo for turning that room around. And the Jets, guys, if you got extra money laying around, I'd take whatever spare money you have and bet that spread because it's going to be way over 10 points.
Never say that. Never.
No, I'm very confident in that. I will.
But this is kind of a classic trap game for the Bengals too, right? They got the Browns, a division game the following week, so we got to stay sharp.
People thought we would choke against Detroit, and we gave them a good ride. And then look what Detroit did last week against the Rams, held them close to the end. So.
I do have to say, and I don't know the legalities between Canada and the U.S., but I will say a disclaimer: I'm not responsible for any loss of money that you incur. However, if you have some extra money, I'd spread it.
Wow.
Tom, we'll let you follow that up.
A lot this week. Exciting time, to be a Bengals fan, not just for this year, but I believe for the direction of the franchise. So congratulations to the whole front office, football staff and business staff, and to the guys in the locker room that are first class and pouring their heart out. A bit of good news for all Bengals fans this week that we didn't really have time to get to. We'll get to in another week. There's been a change in leadership in Canton at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And with that change, the new president is very open, if not openly encouraging reconsidering of the rules from one senior candidate to two senior candidates every year, maybe even more than two. So we can't forget to please keep up the pressure and the chatter for our friends Willie Anderson, Ken Anderson, and a deserving late Ken Riley. So please don't forget those three. Keep the chatter up there and keep up the good vibes. And we're not worried about anything but the New York Jets winning that game and coming home healthy.
Fan of the year?
Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. A lot of fun with Tailgate Joe and Frank, the Jet Santa, and Chick. It's good stuff, guys. And just say Chuck again. But we have some big news coming up, guys. We do have some big guests planned here for the next 3 to 5 weeks. There's some big names coming on. We're getting ready to have on for you guys. I need your help. As we make the road trip to New York, there's some interaction on social media there with Kay Adams at Good Morning Football, isn't it, Tom?
Yep.
Okay. She is a Bengals fan, and she responded to a text or a tweet to somebody and said, "Hey, are the Bengals in town?" With a big, kind of. I think she's in New York. That's where their studios are. We're trying to get her to show up to the tailgate, guys. So just
cool.
Social media. Whatever you want to do, direct messages, tag her, and whatever you can.
A little background on Kay is she will make it very clear she's really a fan of no team but her own. She's a Chicago girl. She loves her Bears. What she loves about, I think, her attraction here is us as fans. And she's very hardworking, very objective, which is very refreshing from the national media. And, when something goes good for the Bengals, she's not afraid to say it. She likes Joe Burrow. She likes Jamar Chase. She likes our team. She likes our city. She likes our team, and she likes us as fans. So hopefully you're able to see her, and we won't be shy in saying if you're going to see her, let's get her on the show.
Hey, Jamie, can we go live at the tailgate if she shows up?
Depends.
Yeah, I think we can probably make an exception for that one. And I think Jimmy, this is where you got to pull out that fan of the year card and use it to get her on the show.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Good idea. Well, guys, we appreciate everybody watching. Keep that positive energy going, guys. This is fun. There's going to be ups and downs through the season, guys. Just there's going to be good and bad. We want to make sure we continue on a positive note. Let's stay healthy. Keep that positive energy going, guys. And look forward to seeing everybody at the Tailgate Sunday at Tailgate Joe's in New York. And we'll see everybody next Tuesday. Who day?
Who day?